Blended learning is an amazing concept because we have different students who learn different ways, meaning some students might need to write it on a piece of paper, other students might need to hear it on a video, or other students might need to look it up rather than go and find a book, or they might have to find a book online. Either way, I think both concepts of paper or technology are great because we use paper and technology in different ways.
I believe that everyone learns differently, and I feel like the effectiveness of blending learning gives everybody the opportunity to move where they can move and what's comfortable for them. So with blending learning, if that means if one student has to be on paper and another learns best on the computer, so be it, because we want to further move on in our educational lives.
I feel like it helps out a lot because the teacher can get the lesson done faster, and if the student still don't understand on the digital platform that she or he showed them, then the teacher can always go back to traditional learning for that student.
In person, I believe I rather learn more of the core subjects like science, math, social studies, and reading because those are more subjects that are more concrete and more specific. So you would want to talk to the teacher more to get more explaining and to understand more. For example, my AP biology class, I would like to, I don't think I would be great taking that class online because I want to ask a lot of questions to the teacher, and the teacher, well, because it's virtual, she might be busy doing something, or she might be grading another class instead of being focused specifically on the class in class.
For me, I like to be in person for math because when I was virtual, math was a struggle because everyone didn't really ask any questions. So I was really the only one who asked the questions, so that could be very awkward. But in class, everyone's participating more, and then you don't really have to ask questions because other people ask those questions. So I feel like just for me, I learned better in person for math and like other core subjects like that.
Yeah. After evaluating the question, I asked myself, would it depend on the complexity of the class? But for everyone, I believe that the complexity of the class can differentiate. And I believe that for me, the complex class would be math and science. But for some other people, it might be English or history. So I believe that people should be given the option to choose which class they should take online versus in person because it depends on the complexity for that person. I would rather take virtually. Spanish I succeeded well in virtually because I believe that pronunciation, it came through really clear through the microphones, and I was able to grasp it as well as hear other people pronounce it through the computer. And another class I would say that I would rather take virtually would be a reading class. Mainly because I am a reader and I love to read, and I believe that when they give us the PowerPoints on reading, I can look at it right in my face because we have our own screen, so I can look at it annotated through Microsoft Teams, and I believe that works best for me. So English and Spanish.
I agree, but I also want to add that in reading especially, you can work at your own pace, so you can read on your own, you can read your own passages and annotate by yourself, whereas when you're in person, you kind of all have to read together. So I feel like in Microsoft Teams it's easier because we're reading on our own, like I said, and you can annotate and you kind of work at your own pace.
I agree, and I think the classes that revolve mostly around reading and annotating should be virtually because different students read and understand at different paces, meaning this student could understand the passage well just by reading it once versus another student might need to read it twice or 3 more times in order to really understand it, or they might need to highlight and take notes while reading the passage to understand the lesson.
I agree as well because say that the teacher gives out a digital test on ELA or any subject, if they turn in the test, it automatically grades it for the teacher and the students. So the auto grading system would also be easier for the teachers and the students.
To disagree with what they're saying, I think for me, ELA and my history classes were not very good virtually. I am a self-independent person. Like, I like reading at my own pace and I like doing that. But at the same time, we had PowerPoints, and sitting in a class that was an hour and a half long, looking at a PowerPoint through a screen is exhausting, and it's not very good for me. And so when I'm in person, it gives me that physical aspect of everybody being in the same classroom with me, and it's more easier for me to retain information that the professor or teacher is giving.
I agree with that because also virtually it feels like you lose your attention. So a lot of the time you'll get distracted by other things in your house, whereas if you're in person, you can actually see those things and you're actually in that class, so you can pay more attention.
For me, my history class, I did better when I was virtual because he could teach us through the screen, and a lot of the assignments that he gave us, we were using our textbooks for it, and I like typing better versus writing, so his class was easier for me virtual.
I'm more of a visual learner because I like to look at charts and graphs, and it makes the work easier.
I'm a write it down learner. I love to write it down, and if a teacher gives me a worksheet, I'm very happy. Other than having to read a text, I'm happier on a worksheet. And I also think I'm a social learner because I like to see what other people are doing around me.
I feel like I'm more of a visual learner because I like to write things down in my notes or on a piece of paper, and then I like to study them over and over again, and that's the best way for me to learn, I feel like.
For me, the best way for me to learn is group activities and physical activities because I'm a social learner and I'm a social butterfly and I like to talk to people. So I would like to get what they're saying and shape their thoughts to shape my own so I can come up with the best solution that I can with the other solutions around.
For me, I think I'm a combination of all three. I need to see it, I need to hear it, and I also need to write it down. I don't just want to hear something and let it be, oh, okay, I heard it, I got it. No, I need to make sure that I really have it. So by using all three, I think I learn best.
I've noticed that all three learning styles work for me, but I feel like one of the more effective styles, or one of my more dominant styles, are kinesthetic learning. So I like projects and hands-on things, but when I do work, I like to work by myself because sometimes if I'm in a group or it has too many people in it and there are too many voices or too many distractions, I could get overwhelmed and I might start shutting down, and I want to make sure that I'm effective towards myself and my future grades, so that's why I prefer to work alone.
I would change is the schedule teachers are given in order to teach in a class. For example, one of my classes, we tell the teacher, hey, could we do this more, or could we do this again? This way we learn best. And they're like, well, I really can't, we don't have time, because we need to be more ahead and we're behind. And we need to keep following the schedule in order to end the class on time.
What I would do is more community activities. I feel as though we're always trapped in the school building, and life is always going on while we're in the school building. So I believe we can go outside in the community and interact with them. We can shape ourselves for the future and what we'll be doing, because not all of us will be in the school building all the time.
I agree. I think we should have more hands-on activities during the school because, just like he said, we don't live at school, so we need those experiences so that we can take them home and not necessarily work on them, but use them in our daily life.
I think teachers and administrators to find ways to apply our learning outside of school. You know, we need to be prepared for the real world, which is after college or during college as well. You know, we learn different things during school, and we shouldn't just be learning them to know and to remember these things just for a test to get us into college. There's more to life than just passing a test in order to be successful.
I would like to add on. I would say that they need to do like more community activities, like taking students to like a workshop or like basically what they want to do in their future, so that they can know what they're going to be working with and where they're heading to.
I think some classes to help make that transition, like to be without your parents, to be without help at home, to be without your parents' money. I think that's very important because you're going into the real world, so you have to have some experiences. And other than school, 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day, you go home and you really just want to chill.
Piggybacking off of what Carter said, I feel like just to dig deeper into what she said, I feel like she was trying to go along the lines of basically preparing yourself mentally, not only just like physically or financially for life, but mentally, because we, as children, oftentimes we may be scared by the world, or we may look at the world and we're like, oh, we're this little human surrounded by all these big things and all these scary things in the world. So I feel like school should be more of a place to help us prepare for it and let us know that, oh, it doesn't just happen to me, but somebody else experienced this also in their life. So I feel like we should have more classes about mental health and preparing us for the future mentally.
Yeah, I think knowing that you have people around you is a big thing. Also, like Amber just said, because you can also feel like you're alone a lot, and you don't want to be alone. You want to have people around you, especially when you're going to make that transition. You're going to have lots of friends and lots of grown-ups that you can go to.
That also goes to like teachers and administrators keep creating that safe place where students should be comfortable talking to them, because we may have problems that we have at home and that we don't have outlets at home when we're not inside of school. So I believe teachers having that personality that they give off that is comforting and welcoming and tell me anything that you want to know is very good for us, even if it's education or if it's something that doesn't necessarily relate to teaching or like the lesson that we're learning. I feel like that is amazing.
Yes, I agree with Dantria. I would say that administrators and teachers need to build a strong connection with us students, because sometimes we feel intimidated by their presence, or that they just like, we're coming in to teach and that's all we're going to be doing. But I feel as if though they can build a connection, not so like a strong connection, because I know they're dealing with a lot of students and they have their own personal issues to deal with at home. But I believe they can create the safe haven for us, and that we will be able to come to them. We will see more success in our